Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome to Toon Jam. I am Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
And today we are talking all about KaBlam. That's right, we're going back to our 90s roots. It's been a while since we've been in the 90s.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last 90s show we did?
Wildcats?
That's correct. Good memory.
Thanks.
So that was quite a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Almost 2 months ago.
Ooh.
If not 2 months ago, actually.
Time does fly.
Yeah, so, oh boy, we're back. We're back in the zone. Let's hope we have a better trip this time.
Oh, yeah.
KaBlam. So let me tell you a bit about KaBlam. KaBlam is an American animated sketch comedy television series that ran on Nickelodeon from 1996 to 2000. The series was created by Robert Mittenthal, Will McRobb and Chris Viscardi. The show was developed as a fully animated showcase for alternative forms of animation that were more common in indie films and commercials. Each episode thus features a collection of short films in different innovative styles of animation, bridged by the characters Henry and June, who introduce the short animations and have adventures of their own in between. So there you go, brief overview. There were 4 seasons with 48 episodes altogether. So for 4 seasons, that's not that many.
No.
Especially for back in the day, but it's still a nice amount.
Mm.
It's not a small amount either.
I suppose if you count how many like different
Segments.
Sections they were and stuff, yeah, that's quite a lot, I suppose.
Yeah. Fun fact, there was actually a cancelled spin-off film, a live action version of Prometheus and Bob. Film was announced in 1998 to be directed by Harold Zwart, produced by Amy Heckerling and Twink Kaplan, and written by Joe Stillman, but was scrapped due to lack of interest. According to Coat Zellers, Chris Farley and David Spade were both considered until the former's death, and much of the script was reused for Gulliver's Travels with Jack Black.
What?
How strange is that?
That is really weird.
Shorts from KaBlam have appeared at the beginning of theatrical releases. One episode of Action League Now, titled Rock a Big Baby, was shown before the Nickelodeon film Good Burger. And here's a double fun fact for you. So before the film Digimon, the movie, Angela Anaconda appeared in the show. And Angela Anaconda is actually a spin-off from KaBlam.
Oh.
So there you go, learning new things.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. As far as overall reception, I think it was received reasonably well.
Mm.
It has a 7.9 rating on IMDb.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
That is good,
Rotten Tomatoes, it is unrated.
Oh.
Except for season 4, which has an audience rating of 80%.
Oh.
So fresh for season 4 amongst audience members.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's KaBlam in a nutshell. Do you remember KaBlam?
Yeah. It's one of those that I'm always like, oh yeah, it's kind of in the back of my mind constantly. Like, oh, that was pretty cool. I like anytime I think of, Robot Chicken, I can't help but think of Action League Now in the same instance.
The predecessor.
Yeah. And just, it always comes to mind when you think of like little shorts and just kind of forgotten animations. It's always in there somewhere. It's always in there whirring around.
Well,
do you remember it much?
Yeah, I remember it as well. And rewatching it was sort of because I remember Action League Now more than anything.
Yeah.
And obviously Angela Anaconda, but I didn't know that was part of KaBlam.
Mm.
But watching the first episode again did bring things back, like Prometheus and Bob.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Oh, I remember these now. But yeah, it's cool to see a sketch show of animation as well, like, because I think there was Liquid TV on MTV that we've covered. But I don't think we've covered any others.
No.
I don't know if it's a very common thing.
It doesn't seem like that nowadays, does it?
No, yeah. I like the showcase sort of mentality where, you know, you get 1 minute you've got toys, then you've got cartoons, then you've got claymation, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty cool.
I think as a kid that really gripped you, didn't it? Like,
yeah, because it's a Kinder Egg, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just don't know what you're going to get inside, and no matter how disappointing it is, you're still excited.
Still unexpected.
So what's Twitter got to say about KaBlam?
I mean, obviously it's been a while since KaBlam's been on, so Twitter is just it's generally full of memories, fleeting memories from folk. So we've got Rolex Tide XT, who says KaBlam was fire purely off the basis that it was a cartoon that hosted other fire cartoons.
Yeah.
So very fiery in their opinion.
A scorcher, a real scorcher.
Absolute face melter, KaBlam was.
Melt man.
The melt man of the Nickelodeon showcases. Yeah.
Bit of KaBlam humour for you there. Bit of KaBlam reference humour.
Yeah, all you Action League Now fans are rolling around on the floor.
Yeah. Or you like, it still isn't that funny.
Yeah, no, it's not. And then we've got the Nail Sensei, who says, "Not everyone gonna feel this tweet. KaBlam should still be on Nickelodeon till this day. Henry and June walked so some of these other cartoons could run. Underrated, phenomenal classics."
You know what? I feel you. I feel that tweet.
We feel that tweet.
We feel that tweet.
Yeah.
Fond memories brought back.
Yeah, absolutely appreciating Henry and June and what they put on their shoulders, so that so the rest of us could be here today. Looking back, where's the statue of Henry and June, guys? Where is it?
I mean,
because I don't see that on Google Maps. We've got Not Nebstein, who says, "It concerns me how many people weren't aware of the cartoon KaBlam."
Real, genuine concern.
Yeah, they wanted to express that concern in a public forum. So they went on Twitter and was like, "Do you know what? I'm very concerned."
Yeah, that you do not know who the Flesh is.
That's it.
What odds are echoes of it? You probably do know.
Yeah, this is true. We've got Shelley Strick 4L, who says, "I miss KaBlam, man. Like, that's one of the GOAT cartoon shows to me. Absolute GOAT is what they're saying."
Right.
Which is like, for those who don't know, that's like an acronym for greatest of all time.
Yeah, GOAT.
Yeah, which, beforehand was a derogatory term that my cousin used for something. So I was very confusing when that became a positive thing. Yeah, just like, "Oh, you're a GOAT." So yeah, that was a confusing one for me, but greatest of all time. High praise again.
Yeah, real high praise. That's like, the highest praise.
And the praise continues with H.C. Weiss, who says, "The older I get, the more I realise that old Nickelodeon show KaBlam was almost tragically ahead of its time."
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, as we've just read, this is like cutting edge animation at the time.
Yeah. Like, with obviously shows that went on to, they continued into eternity. Like, shows that, copy and pasted some of their stuff. Robot Chicken, as previously mentioned, it's like, no, actually now probably no Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's gone from one degree to the next. It is kind of tragic. KaBlam was like left by the wayside.
Yeah.
And then finally we've got Josiah Van Deen, who says, KaBlam was the best Nickelodeon show. End of story.
Well, what more can you say?
That's it. And that's the end of the episode.
So there we go, guys. But yeah, so all positive stuff.
All positive. No one came to Twitter to trash KaBlam by the looks of it. They're all just like, you know what, I missed that show.
Yeah. And it is impressive because usually you can dig out one complaint.
Yeah.
Everyone's
there's the few that are like, so many people talk about this show that it's really good, but I think it's rubbish.
Well, will we do that?
Oh, that could be.
Will we be the guys to do that? We shall see. Only the next 10 to 15 minutes will tell. Okay, so let's dig in then. Let's dig into KaBlam. I want to touch first on that cutting edge animation, which I think in a way cutting edge is probably not the right word, but it was certainly new forms of animation. Yeah. Because you can't really say that Action League Now is cutting edge animation.
No, probably not.
However, there was nothing else like it at the time.
Yeah.
Of just like basically people playing with toys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's been done before, but like just, not really televised maybe. Yeah. I think probably the most cutting edge animation is the only one that is now obsolete, which is Flash animation. Yeah. It came, it went. It's gone forever.
But it paved a way.
It did, yeah.
For cheaper animation. But it's cool to see, like saying that, they might not necessarily be cutting edge animation. I think it was me that said cutting edge animation, so I'm only criticising myself. Who
was that one guy who said cutting edge? Because he
remember him? What an idiot he was. He doesn't know anything. But that being said, it was the fact that it was just different animation to what was, the standard. I will say, so some of the puppetry work, which is stop motion animation, but it was like, is it Life with Loopy? Yeah. So this had a really weird, like it looked almost like, Postman Pat, Thomas the Tank Engine, Fireman Sam type animation. Hopefully you all know what they are.
Yeah, it looked like miniatures or whatever, didn't it?
Yeah. Like however, their faces looked animated in a cartoon sense. I thought that was really cool. I think that was, as far as animation goes, I think that was my favourite episode. Yeah, definitely.
It was the same for me. It's such a mix of things, like the puppets and then like the animated faces, and some stuff looked like it was, like almost CG or something. Like there was like a right mix of stuff in there. It was like, oh, this is really cool, and it all just blended together really well.
And it did remind me of Andrew Anaconda as well a bit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, after you said that, I was like, yeah, that's what it reminded me of. Yeah, because of the faces, I think. And yeah, I think overall that had like a really nice aesthetic. It sort of felt a bit like Rocco or Invader Zim or something. Like the way that it was in a sort of like weird little, like the kind of cul-de-sac was very kind of idyllic, almost
had that
surreal
90s vibe, didn't it? 90s Nickelodeon vibe.
Yeah, I really liked that one. That was fun.
And amazingly, I would say probably the most Prometheus and Bob was really, it was claymation. Yeah. Which, everyone loves a bit of claymation, I would think. But that's nothing new at the time. No. I don't know how many people were doing it back then, but Wallace and Gromit had probably come out by then, I would say.
Yeah, I'd thought so.
96, I'm sure Wallace and Gromit was like 95, if not earlier. Might be 90.
But yeah, I'm sure there's other claymation stuff, but
Yeah.
well, that as well, wasn't there?
However, it's one of the most well known on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, they nearly made a film of it.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy that's the one that nearly got a film made out of that.
No, yeah. But I suppose it's one of them where it's the simplest premise where you can change it as much as you like.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter because there's no storyline really to it, is there?
No. It's quite. I do like the concept of it, like that it's just like an alien doing trials with a caveman. I think that's quite funny.
With his like VHS recorder.
Yeah, which is pretty hilarious. And then you've got this monkey who's like smarter than both of them, it seems.
Yeah.
He's just kind of making a mess of things. It's quite fun.
It was just a cool little. You can see why it's well remembered, I think, because it is simple and it's just enjoyable. It's got one of them sort of Looney Tunes vibes where you could watch that at any time and get it.
Yeah, get a kick out of it as well. Yeah. And it's there's no dialogue either, so it's just like it's a lot of visual stuff. It's visual storytelling. Like it's like anyone can sort of grasp what's going on. Like that's what's fun about it.
I think the first short was just standard cartoon animation, 2D animation, I should say.
Yeah.
Was that Sniz and Fondue?
Sniz and Fondue, yeah.
Wasn't a huge fan of that. It wasn't terrible, but it didn't stand out. No,
yeah, it's weird because I think I always feel like that one was the one that always opened the show. I mean, I might be probably wrong about that, but like the ones I watched, it seemed to always open it, and like I was always confused as to like what animals they were actually supposed to be. Like, because in general in cartoons there's lots of like anthropomorphic things, but most of the time they tell you what they are. It's like angry beavers or whatever. You're like, oh, okay, the beaver. And at least they look like them.
It's so important when you're a kid, isn't it, to know what type of animal they are?
Yeah. The raccoons were raccoons, But yeah, they were. I was always like, what are they? They're just so weird. It just made it hard to describe to people. Like, Sniz and Fondue, like those things. They're like mammals, I think, of some kind, some variety. But yeah, like story-wise, that one was pretty like. Yeah, it's like it was all right. There was nothing. I don't think it was. Probably watch worse cartoons in general, but like
it just didn't stand out, did it?
No, as far as the showcase goes, that was probably the weakest for me.
Interestingly, it was directed by John R. Dilworth, who created Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh right, that's really strange.
So yeah, that's pretty bizarre
combo. Yeah,
it doesn't you wouldn't know it, but then I suppose there's some similarities.
Yeah, I do. I wonder how many people were sort of like cutting their teeth on these. Like how many went on to do other stuff. Like,
and it's why these shows are so good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose the other one have we done? I think we have done, and this would have been a while ago. So you'll have to search through our YouTube if you want to get into this one. But What a Cartoon.
Yeah.
I think we did What a Cartoon, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I'm sure we did. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. I know we did. And because we did
Yoink at the Yukon. Yeah.
But that was another one where that was a sort of. It was slightly different, but it was a showcase in a way, I suppose.
Yeah, they were kind of pilots, weren't they?
Yeah. And it was such a cool. It's such a cool. I wish they still did these kind of things because, like you say, it is a good place for new animation, and you can have the weirdest, stupidest things. Yeah,
like it doesn't matter. Like there doesn't need to be like a compilation of like similar things or whatever. Yeah. Like they can all just be whatever. It doesn't really matter because nobody likes it. Then
it's one of the things we liked so much about MTV. I think because eventually MTV, the entire channel became one of these shows.
Yeah.
And they just shove them in between music videos.
That's it.
Obviously, eventually it became that. Eventually, it went far from that.
Now it's like the opposite.
You can head over to our YouTube, and we did a whole section on MTV cartoons that was quite fun.
Mm.
But this feels very much like an MTV cartoon as well.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of strange.
Yeah. For saying it's a Nickelodeon cartoon as well. It's not adult humor.
No.
But it feels a bit more. I don't know. It feels a bit more for older kids.
Yeah.
Even though younger kids can watch it. I mean, we watched it. We were young.
Yeah.
But it's got. I mean, Action League now. Let's touch on that for a bit because that to me is the standout show.
Yeah, it was just so funny at the time. Like I remember it just cracked me up. Like the concept of it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's obviously pre-Robot Chicken, so you've never really seen it done to this capacity. And the fact that they're all like all the characters are lame essentially, like in their own way. Like they're all kind of feeble superheroes, and the fact that unlike Robot Chicken, where they kind of make sets around the characters, so it's as if they're living in their own universe a lot of the time. This is like you can tell that they are action figures like in the real world. So like the scale of them just makes it ridiculous. As soon as you see them like in their tiny car down the street, like the visuals of it just make it hilarious, and also makes their attempt at being superheroes even more stupid.
Yeah,
so
just things like the mayor is the villain.
Yeah.
And he's driving around in a real car, but he's also an action figure. And then they have a game of chicken, and it's like car versus
like remote control car.
He just runs it over. It's hilarious actually because he runs it over and then goes straight over the edge and explodes.
Yeah, off the cliff.
It's just stupid. It's just stupid.
It really is. But the humor's so on point for saying like it could be, I'm sure there's countless YouTube videos of like kids doing this, like with like Lego figures and stuff or whatever, like doing their own action, like, and it will just be like corny jokes or whatever, or it just won't quite land. But almost everything on this seems to be like make you giggle. It's just really well written, and
when you're a kid watching toys in that form, it is like someone's playing with the toys and playing a story out, and it just makes you like think, oh man, that's how I want to play with my toys. I always remember, so like look at like the Toy Story films. The start of every Toy Story film, there's that scene, isn't there, where it's like an adventure, but it's actually just Andy playing with his toys. But that is so exciting. It's almost like the best bit in the film. So it has that appeal as well, where you're just like, oh man, and it gives you ideas almost for playing with your toys.
That's it, like extending your own abilities in toy playing. And
it's something funny because you do end up with how many of your toys you lose. Like, so there's the Flesh who is naked, and you just lose clothes for your toys or whatever they've been. And it's just that they become so like the scuba guy. And you're like, well, I don't know, if someone got me this toy, I don't know what it's from.
But he ends up in the mix, like that's it now.
Because you've got it. And then it's like that time, so one of them has been melted with a magnifying glass. And it's like that regret afterwards. So what can you do with them after that?
It's like, well, you have to just still play with it because you just don't have money to buy a new one at that point. So it's like, he's just melted now, though. That's just him. That becomes his identity.
And it's just great. I think, that is definitely the standout highlight.
I can't believe how funny I found it now. Still.
Funnier, probably.
I'm still impressed by how stupid it really was. Like, as a story. That's. I mean, I don't know how much of the Robot Chicken guys like coasted off that, or how inspired they were. Well, like you can't think that there was nothing involved there. Like,
no, I know.
They must have witnessed that in some shape or form and been like, let's do this.
And the thing is, to me, anyway, Robot Chicken is nowhere near as good.
Yeah, and it's weird how it's different. Like
it doesn't. I think almost Robot Chicken, you can always tell it's trying to be stupid.
Yeah.
Whereas this, you kind of buy into the seriousness of it, knowing that it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the characters all feel like they're being serious.
Yeah. And I really do think it makes a difference, like the fact that they're in the real world as well. Like it's like the fact that they are in this, they are action figures, whereas in Robot Chicken, they're kind of just like the characters, aren't they? Like, so it does make a difference. Like, so that's definitely, and I think that's one that Action League Now is one that people seem to remember a lot. You know, in Twitter and stuff. Like if you bring it up, they might not actually remember KaBlam, but they'll remember Action League Now, which is quite funny.
Yeah, it's the main one, isn't it? It's the main event, I think. All right, well, we've talked about it, we've discussed the many aspects of it. Let's head over to our reviews. Hi, Alistair Smythe here. You may remember me from previous episodes and the Spider-Man animated series. I was a villain. I'm not now. I'm here to sell you something. That's right. To sell you something that costs you nothing. That's right. Toon Jam have got old episodes of their show on YouTube. YouTube is a great platform for videos and podcasts, and they are aired on there as well. You can get yourself all of the old episodes of Toon Jam, sans a few of the more recent ones, as they've not been uploaded yet, but they will be soon. Don't worry, keep your eyes out on it. You can get your hands on many of the previous ones, as there have definitely been over 100 episodes by now.
But Mr. Smythe, I like the old things, and I don't suppose I could watch the very first episode of Toon Jam on the YouTubington.
Not only can you watch it, you should watch it. I recommend watching all the episodes, every single one of them, in reverse order. That way you can see that episode last and say, wow, these guys have come a long, long way from that point.
Mr. Smythe, I know that you guys have done some special episodes. And where can I find them?
Well, that is a great question, because although you can find the normal episodes on YouTube, you can also find the special episodes on YouTube. They are all on there. Every single one, sans those recent ones that I mentioned earlier, but every single previous one. So you name it, it's there. The episodes that have been done with Scott Weatherly from 20th Century Geek, they are on there. The episodes that have been done about certain themed animations, they are on there too. Check them out soon.
Mr. Smythe, I would like to get in touch with the Toon Jam boys and leave a little comment in the comment section. Can I do that on the YouTube?
Do not fret. I can hear that you are almost crying. Do not do that, because you can absolutely leave comments there. Share your thoughts with your friends and with other people right on that YouTube page. They are watching, they are listening always, like the big brothers of the internet, only on YouTube and only on the Toon Jam page. That is where they will be. That's right. Head over now to the YouTube page. All previous episodes, since the few I mentioned, and all fun. That's right. None of them are not fun. They're always fun. Alistair Smythe approves. Okay, so here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system. Interesting, and it goes as follows. So, thumbs up, action figures having fun. We all know them. Thumbs down, I just can't figure out what that animal is. And shaky middle, new rip-offs with less laughs. So good, bad, in the middle on that one. So KaBlam, episode 1, your thoughts?
I think it's pretty cool to have a showcase. You know, I really like the idea of just the concept of it, that we're getting lots of different styles of animation from different creators everywhere. And KaBlam does feel like it's put together nicely. We've got the little presenters that do the little sections in the middle, and even they have like little fun animation bits, and they do little gags and stuff, which are quite entertaining. And I mean, the people who did, curate it or whatever, did a pretty good job, because there was some really fun shows on there. I mean, Action League Now is still up there for me. Like that's still really fun and silly. And the other ones were like, they've all got something to them. Like even if it was like, the normal animation, there's still a decent cartoon there that you wouldn't turn away from if it was just playing anyway. But the fact that you get in all these extra bits and pieces, all these different styles, like some of them that like the life with Loopy, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
That, like, I'd never really seen that combination of things before, I feel like, and it just looked really nice. Really enjoyed the way that was. And we've got that, and then you've also got the idea that you can do things that you probably wouldn't be able to do in the normal 20-minute section. Like you couldn't really have 24 minutes of Prometheus and Bob not talking to each other and just like knocking each other about or whatever. So it gives a spot for those things that don't really fit anywhere else. But overall, yeah, I pretty much enjoyed it all the way through. Not really anything bad to say about it. I just wish there was more of its kind, if anything. So
Yeah.
for me, definitely a thumbs up.
Okay, nice thumbs up there. Yeah, I'd have to go along the same lines. I think it definitely did have, highs and lows. But I think that's the case with any sketch show, and the lows weren't that low. More peaks and troughs, let's say. But overall, I mean, so like I said, sort of the I can't remember what they're called, the weird animals that we couldn't figure out.
Yeah, someone and fondue.
Yeah, Sniz and fondue.
Yeah,
that wasn't amazing, but even then, I did chuckle a couple of times in it. And then the rest of it was really good. I am surprised that we've not seen Life with Loopy animation since.
Yeah,
that I'm aware of, anyway. It seems such a shame, because that was really good, and I think it had a good. So they had good balances, and they were very different. All the shows were very different, but still in the same vein. Which that alone is something that's really cool. When you're watching a show, you're always getting something different, so you don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's not enough of these kind of sketch shows in general. You don't get that many nowadays.
No.
There's a few, but it is a few, and it's something that I've always really enjoyed and I do miss. But yeah, the quality overall, for saying this is a pilot episode as well, was really good. It's only going to realistically get better. And it started quite high anyway. So yeah, I'm a thumbs up as well. There you go. What a week.
Yeah.
What a week. Hopefully back on top. We'll see. We keep saying it. We keep jinxing it. So who knows? But it was a nice foray back into the 90s as opposed to this time.
Yeah, yeah. And I think if there's people out there looking for something similar to this, I think the closest modern thing I can think of is maybe like Love, Death and Robots over on Netflix, which is kind of is very different animated styles from different studios and stuff. Not quite on the same sort of level as this, but if you want a mix of stuff, I think that's like the only thing that comes to mind that's modern, really, that does a KaBlam thing. Showcase
type material. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and as always, thank you for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do so on the 3 rip-offs of the internet: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at ToonJamPod. We'd like to hear back. What did you think? Maybe you disagreed with us, maybe you agreed with us. Everyone's got an opinion, and everyone's is valid. How's that? That's a rare thing. You don't hear that often. But at Toon Jam, that's what it's all about, sharing our opinions. We're not all right, we're not all wrong. Such is life. If you'd like to get some more episodes, you can go over to our Patreon with bonus episodes for a nice price, or as we said before, over to our YouTube. And there's also a store where you can get merchandise, and that's bit.ly/Toon Jam shop. And there's all sorts on there. So check it out. It's all themed. It's all to do with Toon Jam and the laughs we have. Otherwise, as I said before, thank you for listening. And until next time, you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.